Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's album review. So, we've got something a bit different for you today. Let's have a look at the request. So it's come through from EYS13A. Please review the EP of Morissette Amon called Signature. Okay, so it's not a full album, it's just an EP. Let's have a look at it. It's only got 5 songs on it, 18 minutes long. So probably the shortest album we've ever done. Well, it's an EP, extended play, so it's not exactly an album as such. And that's what we've got for you. So we have 5 songs here. If we look at Morissette's Wikipedia page, we see here Morissette released an EP Signature with her lead single Trophy. This was her first EP as a singer-songwriter and co-producer along with Lamar and Ramos, and was released under Underdog PH. The EP held the highest position achieved by OPM artists on iTunes USA in 2021. So yeah, a little bit of information about it there. So there we go. Brett, what are you thinking?
I think it's going to be nice, short and sweet. We've obviously, as long as it's the same Morissette that we've listened to on our reaction stuff. We obviously really like her singing voice. I think we've already done covers of hers. Have we done any of her original stuff? I don't know. I can't remember. But either way, we're not going to like the sound of her voice. And as I always say with her shorts, kind of album EP, nothing to lose there. So yeah, maybe I end up got maybe sort of higher hopes than this, and maybe with other things. But as always, we'll try and be as neutral when I get into it as well. So yeah.
For me, I'm looking forward to this. I think hopes are high, which we said before can lead to disappointment if you get your hopes up too high. I think we've mainly done covers of hers. So I don't know. What about that one in the shopping centre she did? Remember that one? It wasn't very. Was that a cover or? I can't remember.
I feel like that one might have been a cover.
So yeah, I'm interested to see what her own songs are like that she's written herself. As you said, we know she's got a great voice. I think it's our type of music. It's very kind of non-offensive pop-like music. So we can't go too wrong, I don't think. It's just so yeah, that's what we're going to be listening to. We'll be back with you guys in just a moment to share our thoughts with you. So see you in a second. Right, so we've now listened to the album. I'm looking a bit scruffier than we first made the first recording, and I won't say anything about Backstreet Brett. Okay, so let's get into the EP then. So track 1, Love You Still. Brett, do you want to go first this time? We've never gone first before.
I actually have gone first once before. Actually, you threw a curveball to me on that, so it has happened. But yeah, maybe for this special EP, maybe I'll go first on this first track, if you like. As we know, it's a really short one, so I was hoping to write quite a bit on these sort of tracks, but I sort of haven't. It sort of felt kind of the same, really. But so yeah, it's open track. So what the first point I put here is about sort of. It sounds really obviously like modern, but yet old school in the same way. So it's kind of sort of more sort of traditional sort of female solo ballad kind of thing, but done in a really nice sort of modern kind of way. Her voice, as we know, she's got a great voice, is really good in hearing this. However, I would say it didn't feel as good as probably when we've listened to her on her other sort of reaction things, but that could be the fact, it's a produced, track together, so it's not going to generally come out from there. I put here the artist Sia, kind of similar in terms of the singing kind of thing. I'm a big fan of there. But otherwise, it's a real simple, effective song. Lovely voice. And what we're here, yeah, towards the end, nice focus on more of just the voice and less on the music. But otherwise, it's a really good sort of standout, popish kind of track, really.
Right. Okay. So for me, I felt that it was quite a powerful song. I could feel it in her voice. I felt you mentioned it there at the end there. I felt the song was very vocal focused, like you said there about a lot of emphasis on her voice. So I definitely felt that. Sometimes with songs, sometimes the instrumentals can kind of drown out the singing a little bit. But I felt with this one, it was very much focusing on her vocals. Now, you mentioned Sia. Sometimes we get into trouble when we compare artists, as you know all too well, with your recent
I don't know what you're talking about.
comparison with Britney Spears and a certain Korean singer, which we won't go into. Sometimes people get a bit offended or don't like it when we compare, but I am going to compare. I would compare vaguely, or this particular song, vaguely to Beyonce. For me personally. So this particular song, it certainly wasn't made to be a catchy song. It wasn't that sort of style. It was that kind of, like you say, kind of maybe modern kind of pop song. I thought overall the instrumentals don't get too strong, hence why I say it's very vocal focused. So I've just ended on the word interesting. Going to leave it at that. It's not something that that's all I'm going to say. It was interesting just to get a kind of feel for things. So the second track was Trophy. Brett, take us through it.
I'll go first again on this one here. Okay. Yeah, so this one, we're now going a little bit less ballad-like and definitely more pop. I put here R&B pop, and it's funny you mentioned Beyonce. I do mention Beyonce a little bit later on, but you're definitely starting to get more of an R&B vibe. I'm sure to say that songs I do seem quite similar as we go through them. But I really enjoyed this one. Not that I didn't enjoy the first track, but I feel with this one, maybe it's that little bit shorter. I said that a little bit more sort of pep elements. Also very sort of like girl band kind of song. I can imagine a girl band sort of doing it. Obviously, it's just with Morissette singing it. Definitely head bopping, definitely catchy. It could have been catchier, I would say, but it was definitely, some would say, a bit more catchier than the previous song. But I think that's just purely with that little bit more sort of upbeat to it. But I like this one.
Okay, it's interesting. So we have some similarities there in what we think, but also some differences. So for me, I think you said this was a catchy song. I've put here another non-catchy song. I did not find this catchy. Again, I had those Beyonce. Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say, because when I was going to clear that, I felt it was slightly catchier than the song before. It's still, as you're right, I think you're absolutely right. It's not like a real poppy, catchy song, but it just felt that it could have been more potentially catchy than the previous song.
Okay. So again, I felt the Beyonce vibes. And like you said, I felt the actual words I've got here, modern R&B slash pop music. Which again is kind of probably why I'm thinking along the lines of Beyonce. For me, though, some parts of the song are a bit off-putting, and I wasn't actually overly keen with this song. There was just something about it I didn't actually like about it. So, potentially I do kind of like this music, the kind of R&B pop music kind of scene, but no, not with this particular song. Didn't do it for me. So track 3 was Will You Stay? So Brett, you might as well carry on going first.
Yeah, go on then. Why not? So this, again, I think is an upgrade on the previous song, which I thought was more of an upgrade on the song before that. This sort of R&B continues. This one probably a slightly bit more ballad-like. It sounds really familiar, but I'm not sure what other song is here. So the artist now I started to put down on this one was Alicia Keys. but definitely probably more musically elements to it, whilst I think Alicia is definitely more vocally focused then, I would say, than probably on this song. But yeah, her voice still sounds really good, really impressive. Um, Love how sort of the music sort of it was starting to get more intense throughout the track, which I quite enjoyed. So getting more into it as well. Again, it's only a very short track, for about 3.5 minutes. And then nice sort of we have sort of a good guitar solo sort of at the end, which I wasn't really sort of expecting. But this was definitely sort of my favourite out of the three so far.
Okay, so for me, this was a completely different vibe to the previous two. I felt it was very low key, very kind of chilled out kind of music. Almost had that kind of mesmerizing effect. I'd say it was another vocal masterclass. It really showed her talent with her singing. However, it's not my type of song though. I like slow songs, but not this slow. And I like songs with a catchy chorus, which this it didn't have as well. I just found this was just too sort of laid back, too chilled, too slow. And yeah, I suppose when you say it, I kind of get the Alicia Keys kind of comparison, but yeah, I'm not really into these types of songs. Not just by Morissette, but just in general. I need something a little bit more of a I don't know, a bit more something.
A bit more X factor, a bit more something for, yeah.
Okay, so that brings us on to the penultimate song of the EP already.
Okay.
So that is Mirror. Take it away.
So right at the start of this one, we kind of had sort of it wasn't very, very long, a trippy-ish kind of start. And I put here sort of kind of reminded me of sort of the Beatles. This is then when the song, I'm referring to sort of Beyonce, even sort of Destiny's Child, then even sort of Little Mix, because it did have more of that sort of girl band, sort of poppy elements there. But yeah, I still felt this sort of pop R&B vibe. We've obviously gone a bit more upbeat than the previous song that we had before. So I could imagine sort of in the discos and clubs, sort of this sort of coming on. But also has sort of a swaying kind of elements to it there. Otherwise, I just said it was more poppy. Definitely by the end, that sort of girl band vibe, and kind of liking the vibe. But I think for me also, it's not my sort of forte of sort of type of I would like to normally listen to, but I'm enjoying it.
Okay, so for me, it was another kind of artistic style of song. I haven't used that word at all today, artistic, but I think that's kind of like how I described the album. It's not just kind of, I don't know, typical pop music. It has something to it. It certainly has a vibe to it. Again, strong vocals. And again, those low-key instrumentals again, so that we can really focus on her voice. And I think that's been a theme throughout this album. I prefer this song to the others. For me, it offers a bit more. And yet again, I'm still feeling those Beyonce vibes. So yeah, this was definitely an upgrade on the first three for me. Okay, so that brings us on to the last track, which is Phoenix. So Brett, how did you find it?
I'll say from the start, I feel for me, this was my standout song of the EP. Sort of a slower ballad, but it does start to sort of build up, and there was definitely more focus on the lyrics. So I hadn't mentioned before, like in the previous one, even though the lyrics were clear, like before we never really pick them up. I know the previous one I definitely didn't, but this one I felt like they came out a bit more. Not enough for me to sort of quote it, but I just felt like that sort of came through. It had that sort of more, I won't say emotional pull to it, but it felt more powerful. I'd say I can't quote it, but raising up like from the Phoenix, that sort of classic sort of line from that down there. Again, really strong sort of Beyonce vibes with this one here as well. Voice sounds the most impressive in this song, I thought, than some of the others. And again, I just thought it was a really sort of well put together, published sort of song there. And I really loved the sort of subtle sort of piano bits at the end. But yeah, it was definitely for me the standout track from a short EP.
Okay, so for me, as soon as this came on, I thought, okay, this is nice. And what I liked about it, it built up nicely. So it became a really lovely ballad. The song has a clear chorus to it, which I couldn't really say about the other songs. I prefer the combination of her vocals and instrumentals on this song. I thought it all worked really well together. I was feeling the Beyonce vibe again, and like you, this would also be my standout track of the album, of the EP. It just offered more for me than what the others did. It was just more. Maybe we could say more of a kind of standard sounding song, maybe, if that makes sense. The kind of, I don't know, the kind of build up, and then the chorus, and then I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, potentially. And that was, I said, the strong sort of lyrics sort of coming through as well. And it's almost like it was kind of like a mix of all the other kind of songs sort of put together as well. But yeah, I do get what you're saying on that one.
So if we're summing up, I would say for me, yeah, the last two. It's very simple. The last two tracks were good. First one was interesting. That's all I'm saying for that. I didn't like the second and the third. So a mixed bag, basically. I'm glad it got better towards the end. So yeah, it's interesting to kind of. I presume she's wrote these songs herself.
Yeah, so I did say that. So I confirm. Yeah, she with someone else. I can't remember who the other person was. But yeah, two of them. Yeah, all written by them.
Yeah, I think I'm the kind of person. I'm not really too keen on like songs that are too kind of a bit experimental, a bit out there, a bit different. I kind of. I just like a kind of.
You like a vanilla ice cream? You like
a vanilla ice cream? I don't know. I just like my kind of, I don't know, 90s, early noughties kind of pop music. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's just something that's a bit quite catchy. And yeah. Anyway, how would you sum up?
Yeah, so same to you. Just to go back on and I think the last point you were sort of saying there, and I feel like this is why you could probably, I appreciate, because at least, like I said, it's not going to be exactly like, you know, the other stuff that you used to like back in the day, but at least it was a good nod to it. Like I say, it was a good, definitely must have had some influences from there to sort of put it in there. Like I said, for me, I felt like maybe it's going to come a bit stronger. I think it's hard because obviously based on sort of some of the reaction stuff we've done of hers, and just sort of been more blown away with hearing her voice in those in comparison to listening to this. And as I said, it was just maybe missing that oomph, that X factor, just to take it up a little bit. But otherwise, you know, I thought they're all just good, sort of solid songs. So definitely for me, the last one was my favourite and standouts. And probably different to you, I'd probably say the third one maybe my second favourite. The second to last one, which is your second favourite, probably my third favourite, and then the bottom two, probably on par, just being a bit different from there, really. Loads of others, but at least there wasn't any on there that I sort of didn't really like. So, yeah, I thought it was pretty good, but I feel maybe I had higher expectations from that. And I said this isn't that type of sort of pop music that I would normally listen to as well. But you know what, it wasn't too bad.
Okay, so that's it from us. Keep the requests coming. We'd love to listen to, you know, review more albums, different kinds of genres, different countries around the world. We're well up for it, aren't we, Brett?
Even though you might complain, but
we might complain.
But we actually do enjoy it. We do like.
In fact, we nearly always complain, don't we? Yeah.
But we do enjoy it.
Yeah, do enjoy it. Right. Okay. So that's it from us. Thank you. See you again soon. Goodbye.